So I thought I might try a new thing in order to actually keep you guys updated on the books that I'm reading, because most of the time I actually forget to talk about what I'm reading, where every week I'm going to sit down and have a little chat with you about what it is that I'm reading at the moment and how I feel about it, and I'm going to try and edit it together into like a monthly reading vlog, what I read that month and what I thought about it as I was reading it. So without further ado, the month is February. I am currently reading Emma by Jane Austen, which is a book that I started as a buddy read forever ago with Lauren from Lauren Mays, and now I'm trying again. So at the moment I'm actually still rereading what I read last time when I was trying to buddy read it, because it's been so long that I've forgotten what happened. So I'm rereading what I'd already read, and I'm almost at the stage where I'm about to overtake it. I think I'm 2 chapters away from overtaking where I got to last time. That's what I read to last time, and that's the bookmark. So that's how much further I have until I catch up to myself again. I'm actually really loving this book. More so this time, I reckon, even than last time, which is weird to say because like I didn't not enjoy it last time I was reading it, but for some reason I feel like this time I was in a better mood to actually read it. Maybe because I didn't feel like I needed to catch up to someone else because I'm just reading it at my own pace. This book makes me laugh all the time. Like, it's actually a lot funnier than I thought it would be, and I'm really enjoying that. Like, you can sense the satire in there, and I'm actually really curious to look up some like study guides and lit guides for Emma, because I've like already marked a few passages in the book that I've already kind of started thinking about and wondering like whether these are passages that actually get talked about in lit reviews as being particularly subversive or having particular messages and themes in them. I haven't done that yet, but I'm really curious to, because I would like to, I just want to see what's going on. And I kind of want to see whether I'm right. What I kind of like to do is try and read it through and pick out passages that I think are related to like potential themes or messages and things in the book, and then like look at lit reviews and see if I was right. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Because it's also the start of the month, I might as well tell you some of the other books that I'm hoping to read this month. I'm hoping to read, I think it's called Seige and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, because I'm reading that with Julia from That Bookie and Ben from Ben Sanders for our BookTube book club. So I'll need to read that so that I can join in on the live stream chat. And I should also be reading Shakespeare's Sonnets for the Novelty book club, which is a book club that I host with the help of Vanessa from Paper Fairy and normally Lisa from Lisa and Things, but she's taking a break from BookTube at the moment. So there's some other books that I'm hoping to read. That's already 3 books. And I'm also listening to Cosmos by Carl Sagan on audiobook at the moment. That was my book that I chose to buy for the month. So there are the other books that I'm maybe hoping to be able to pick up at some stage this month. Some of them that I definitely have to, and the rest of them ones that I would like to. But yeah, so far I am really enjoying Emma and finding it very funny. And hopefully next week I will have looked up the like lit reviews and study guides on Emma so that I can talk to you a bit more about my thoughts on the actual like themes and things that are going on. So I didn't do as well as I had hoped at the weekly reading updates for my monthly reading vlogs, but here I am in the final week of February giving you a little update on the things that I read and things that I read and I'm currently reading and what I'm thinking about them as I go. So I'm still reading Emma because I'm a very, very slow reader at the moment. It's a total pain in the butt, but I'm really struggling with finding time to read. As you can see, I'm now actually most of the way finished. That's how much I've read there, and that's how much is left there. And I did end up looking up some of the like themes and bits and pieces that Jane Austen is talking about in Emma, which has made it really interesting for me to keep reading it from the point that I was at onwards. In particular, one of the things that I found really interesting once I looked it up and became aware of it was the concept of like communication in like relationships, and basically how characters who use really overly flowery and like ornate language aren't actually as sincere in their courtship of each other, whereas characters who are more straight and to the point and more frank with their feelings are the ones that obviously are more sincere as well, and the ones whose relationships actually work out. Obviously Emma and Mr. Knightley is a prime example compared to like Mr. Elton and Frank Churchill, who both use like really ornate, flowery, gallant kind of language. Both of those characters are actually really insincere. So that was really fun to know about as I was reading it, because it made me judge their conversations a lot more. Anyway, so all of that's been really fun and I'm still enjoying it. I also ended up watching the BBC adaptation of it already, like before I finished the book, because I mean I know what happens. It's hard to avoid spoilers for like famous classic literature. So I ended up watching that and fell in love and rewatched the last episode like 5 times in one night, and just, yeah, it's been a fun time. That's the main book that I've really been reading in February. I've also read all of the Grisha trilogy in the space of like 4 days or 5 days or something like that, because I needed to read book 1 for the booktube book club, and then obviously it kind of cliffhangered a little bit, so I kept reading. It was a really weird experience for me because like I wanted to get to the end because of like the cliffhangeriness of it, or because of like the suspense of it, but like the more I read, the more disappointed I got, but also like the more I felt a drive to finish the series. So it was just a really weird, turbulent experience for me reading them. I'm gonna do a live stream chat about it soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I'll sit down and I'm gonna like just live chat with anyone who wants to talk about it with me, because I have some feels. And when I say talk about it, I mean talk about the whole trilogy. I'm just going to talk about all of them at once because I can't be bothered talking about them book by book. And that's all I've read. It's been a fun month. So I actually signed off and genuinely transferred the video to my computer and started editing it before I decided that I wanted to share my TBR at the end of each reading vlog so that it also kind of overlaps into the start of the next reading month. So obviously I would like to finish Emma, which should be feasible. We shall see. I also have 2 audiobooks that I've been working on that I would like to be able to keep listening to and finish, and that is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson and Cosmos, which is by Carl Sagan. So if you remember my diverse reading challenge that I'm trying to do for this year, Emma is a classic book, which was one of the categories, and that was my January diverse pick. Cosmos was supposed to be my February diverse pick, which is a non-fiction book, and Astrophysics for People in a Hurry is my diverse pick for March, which is also a non-fiction book. So none of these are actually books I'm supposed to be reading in March. These are all books I'm supposed to have finished, but here we are. So Emma and the 2 audiobooks. I also obviously need to read Our Sunshine, which is the book of the month for the Novelty Book Club. I'm also supposed to be reading a book called Tempest and Storm for the Booktube Book Club. I'm supposed to have already read that, but I'm going to try and sneak it in over the next couple of days so we can live stream that. If somehow I get through all of those, I actually have borrowed this from a friend, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which you may remember that the Read, React, Repeat book club read it about this time last year, but I didn't join in on it and still want to read it. So I've borrowed this from a friend and I feel like I need to read it so I can get it back to them soon, or at least say that I am reading it. So that is also there on the list. So basically I'm finishing up the books that I failed to read for January and February, which is the Emma and the 2 audiobooks. And then for my actual March TBR, if I get onto it, are the Little Penguin classic, Tempest and Storm, and The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. So that's it. And now when you watch my March reading vlog, you will be able to see how I go with all of those books. Anyway, I will see you in some other video very shortly, I'm sure, and until then, as always, stay classic.
Sit there and count your fingers.